guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're watching Battlestar Galactica. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are watching episode 17 of season 2 of Battlestar Galactica. And we lost Billy in the last episode. I'm really bummed that they gave us kind of like go for it Billy in the episode in which he died. I feel like I would have loved that if there was like a buildup of his character leading up to that moment. And then, you know, there probably would have been heavier devastation. I'm very sad to see him go. I would have liked to see where his character went. But the fact that he's gone, it is incredibly sad. And there's going to be a void that needs to be filled. He was kind of Rosalind's right-hand man, you know. I don't want to say like he helped guide her, but I feel like, you know, he was integral to her cabinet. You know, he helped so much shape who she was when she was sick and help her along with that. And, you know, kind of like, I don't want to say would stand up to her when need be, but, you know, he did have a strong stance about when she was escaping Galactica and how he didn't want to be part of it. And, you know, I respect him for that. It's really sad that they kind of even had to bring in an engagement kind of storyline for that last episode. I don't really think it was necessary to establish the fact that he was in love with Dee. He could have just said like I'm in love with you, and, you know, her just not be able to say it back or something. So that's rather sad. It's just like all the character building for Billy happened in 45 minutes and then now he's gone. So that kind of sucks. But how this is going to affect Rosalind is going to be interesting. And moving forward, like what kind of advice she's going to be getting from her, you know, I don't know if he was an assistant or a handler. I'm not quite sure what his actual job was, but it was important because he was right there with the president. And like, I even remember like on Cobalt when he showed up and like how, you know, happy she was to see him. And he thought that she was going to be mad at him. And that's just not the relationship they ever had. She really loved and respected Billy. I expect Dee to have a little bit of guilt maybe. Not necessarily because she said no, but because she wasn't honest with him leading up to that moment. Anytime you have feelings for another person, I feel like you need to let the person that you're in a relationship like know that like things aren't as stable or aren't as good, or just break up with them. Like you don't even have to tell them. You just be like, hey, this isn't working for me. And I think she at least owed him that. Him finding out on Cloud 9 and it being Lee, and it's just messy Dee. That could have been easily rectified and cleared up, but I think a lot of times in media, we really portray like people as like, oh, I don't want to hurt somebody, so I'm just not going to say anything. And I'd rather like know the truth no matter how much it hurts, because knowing that somebody lied to me, I think hurts even more. So just saying. We also had Admiral Adama talking with Sharon, and, you know, he's been getting a lot of information from her. And, you know, now the whole fleet knows that she's alive and that she's on Galactica and that he is using her as a military asset. But when he point blank asks her, like, you know, if I asked you for the names, would you give them to me? And she says no. You know, she's very honest in that moment. Like, no, I wouldn't do that. And I don't know if it's a sense of loyalty or if, you know, like she's kind of standing her ground. Like, you can only get so much information out of me. But I think, I don't want to say that he respected that, but like he knew that she was being honest and that he knew that she, you know, has a boundary that she's not willing to cross. And that still makes her very valuable, you know. The whole baby issue, and I don't know if the rest of the fleet knows she's pregnant. I feel like that's a scary thing to put out there for everybody to know, is that a Cylon can have a human baby, a half human baby. I don't know what that's going to look like or become, but I don't know if that would scare people or if that would intrigue people, or, you know, if they would, I don't know, start questioning their partners and you would just see, you know, paranoia all over the place. Who knows? But we have to figure out what we're doing with Sharon, because is there going to be a nursery in the brig? Like, I don't know. Seems dicey. Now, Starbuck was very traumatized from shooting Lee. I don't blame her. Friendly fire. You know, that's like something that's really hard for a lot of soldiers to live with, especially if they killed somebody And it was friendly fire, like I don't really know how you reconcile that. And, I've always said that like Starbuck she's not quick to take life. Like Zarek, she was a little itchy on the trigger finger, really wanted to like handle the situation because she really did perceive him as a bad guy. But, she doesn't really want to hurt people. And I don't think killing just comes naturally to her unless it's like a Cylon or a Raider or, like I said, somebody that she really thinks deserves to die. Because, like with Simon, 'twas a beautiful moment. But I definitely think struggling with friendly fire, but it also being Lee, I think that those two things are really going to complicate things for Starbuck. And then her listening to Dee talking to Lee at the end of the last episode, and realizing that somebody else is there for Lee. I don't know if that's going to create a jealousy necessarily. It's not that I didn't forget that they had feelings for each other. But I thought like because of Dee being introduced and Anders being introduced that like maybe that was over with. Not that necessarily you don't have feelings after that, but like that they weren't strong, that they weren't still like, like that Lee's not like, oh yeah, here's my clothes. You want to go? Like, I don't know really where they stand because they've never talked about it. Like they had that moment about like Lee saying like, hey, you can talk to me as a friend. And while I think that's true, I think when you have strong feelings or have had strong feelings for each other, that's not necessarily the case. I don't think that person is really ever somebody that you should lean on emotionally because it just brings up the past. So curious about how that's going to pan out. Like I said, like I don't really see Lee and Dee together, mostly because I hate those two names together. What is Duala's first name? Is that her first name? I don't even know what her first name is. I'm sure Xander will put it up here or up here, depending on if he's in a good mood or a bad mood or if he's going to troll me. But, like if they start exploring a relationship, okay. I would like to see Lee happy, valuing his life, and wanting to stay alive. Like those are like things that, are pretty important to a man's mental health. And I would like to see him happy and wanting to live. I think that those are very important. Now, with Rosalind losing Billy, I don't know how she is going to behave, but I also don't know what that means for Gaius because they're already at the point of like not trusting each other, rightfully so on both sides. Not shocked, not surprised, and like the way he like kind of stood up to her and stood up to Lee without having Six behind him, kind of like saying what to say. I feel like Gaius is really coming into his own, and he's really like acting on his own accord. I'm here for it. Like we get so many different iterations of Gaius that I'm just like, wow, way to expand that character. James Callis, again, I can't believe that nobody won any acting Emmys on here because we know that sci-fi, it's not real drama. Are you kidding me? I've cried more in this than I ever did in Game of Thrones. Well, up until a certain episode. But there might be a Game of Thrones moment on this show. I hope not. Oh my god, that would be horrible. Lose like half the crew. It's funny because a lot of people said that The Expanse was Game of Thrones in space. I think this is. A little bit more. Hopefully the last season isn't off kilter. like Game of Thrones, it was fine. Not the way I would have wanted it to end, but hopefully this one nails it. Fingers crossed. But guys, I'm super excited to get into this episode because we're getting closer and closer to the season 2 finale. And normally that's when shit goes crazy. It's bonkers. It's just insane. And I'm ready for a little bit of insane or a lot of insane. If this is a more heavy Gaius episode, I'm into a lot of insane then. All right, guys, let's get into it.
Must betray Rosalind and run for president in the upcoming election. I know it's hard, but it's the only way.
Did I miss that scene?
Crew can fall apart when their commander is killed. Pegasus lost 2 in a matter of weeks.
Who's in charge?
Oh. He's an engineer, not a command officer.
He's the best they've got.
They have an engineer in charge of Pegasus? Oh. That is a beautiful shot of that ship.
Whoever's in there, time's up. Let's go. Come on.
Ooh.
A couple of tired bikers
To
out
D
there
and
that want
Lee.
sleep.
Go hit the showers.
Okay.
And it's been almost a month, so I guess it's back to work.
So you ready to go into the belly of the beast? That's what they call the Pegasus now. Galactica's the bucket.
Aw.
The bucket
rough.
and the beast.
Why the old man pick you?
One word, Starbuck.
Is she in hack again?
But apparently she's been driving Commander Garner up one bulkhead and down the other ever since she took over flight training on, what'd you call it? The Beast?
I love that.
And since I won't be flying combat for a while,
I'm not upset about this. R.I.P. Billy, though.
oh yeah, got promoted to major.
Aww.
Well, don't sound so happy.
Yeah, it's a big
Doesn't mean
deal.
much.
I think it means a lot.
I think so too.
Well,
I like it, but it's a little jolting right after Billy died. For me. I just watched it 2 days ago.
Did you call it in?
Yeah, we shut the door and the Marines are on their way.
Something moving? Kind of reminds me of Jurassic Park. Oh god. Don't let it eat you.
Chief, we don't know what we're dealing with here. Don't you think we should wait?
Yes! Chief!
Chief,
It could be a raptor. Could be a Cylon. I forgot about Cylons for a hot second. Okay, it's a person. Not a dinosaur. Who are you?
are you Dr. Cottle?
Oh. Hopefully she's not pregnant with a Cylon baby.
Pegasus, this is Raptor 7.
Oh, it's always cloudy before something bad happens. That is a haircut that guy's got.
I think Buster and Shark are declaring an emergency, but their transmission's garbled.
I don't know what Garner's actor's name is, but he's so familiar.
We've lost him, sir.
Andretas. They're not gone, right? Ah! I don't hate the opening, but it definitely interrupts my viewing. That's such a brat. Whoa. Too much fun. Sorry.
Shut the hell up! We lose 2 Raptors in a training mission, and I only find out when the commander throws it in my face.
No one's your friend, huh?
Sir, it's been made clear that discussing flight deck situations with anyone outside Pegasus crew is not allowed.
Oh, really?
Sorry, sir.
And whose frackin' bright idea was that?
It was Garner, wasn't it?
Call Admiral Adama immediately.
So barely competent and paranoid. That's a hell of a combination.
Yeah, she's so harsh.
Your presidential bid has the support of both the military and the civilian fleet, and you've received enthusiastic endorsements from the Gemini's religious leaders.
Huh.
Well, it helps when your only real rival is a convicted terrorist.
Who's actually kind of likable.
The truth is, I can't win.
Guys.
But you could.
Oh.
You flatter me, Mr. Sarah.
Huh, I wonder what that would look like.
I'm not sure I'm cut out for a life in politics, as I find the vice presidency and everything to do with it very tedious.
Yeah, but Gina said you'd have to run against her.
You'd be surprised how many people crave the assurances of cold science as opposed to the superstitious ravings of the Geminis. Think about it.
But he talks to himself in the hallway a lot. He was humping the air, so.
I understand the Geminis have a problem with women terminating their pregnancies.
Tyrell said that she asked for you by name. Do you want to tell me what that's really all about?
Isn't he like a famous doctor?
I don't ask a lot of questions.
You're gonna start. What, doctor?
Why are you involving yourself? It's between a patient and a doctor.
Some people might say she was a victim of political persecution.
Yeah.
Hell, she could apply for asylum.
Yeah, be a refugee. Thank you, Doc Cottle. Ooh. He didn't like that, now did he? Doc Cottle's my guy.
I want asylum.
Oh, thank you, Doc Cottle, for saying that.
Under Gemini law, the girl is still the property of her parents, and they can deal with her once she's safely back on her ship.
Property?
To be honest,
Abortion was legal under colonial law before the attacks, and so it is still legal today.
it's obscene.
It's none of your business.
Thank you, Sarah, very much for coming in.
I like how a group of people are deciding whether or not a girl should have a baby or not. It's none of their business.
I'm not turning that girl over. I'm certainly not banning abortion.
Thank you.
I'm gonna arrange a conference call, you and the quorum, or this is gonna get out of hand fast.
She's not Billy.
No, she's not. What?
Yeah.
I hate to say this. The fact is that that number doesn't go up very often.
Well, it won't go up or down with an abortion.
I fought for a woman's right to control her body my entire career. No.
But
Just
she
remembering
was going to
what you
get rid of
said
Sharon's baby.
right after the silent attack. That if we really want to save the human race, we better start having babies.
By people who want to have babies. Oh, this is going to be this type of episode, huh?
Eve distress. Eve distress.
Receiving distress call?
Received distress call. Okay, from who?
Yeah. Is it a trick?
Commander, Captain Thrace has a
Interesting.
theory about our missing raptors.
That's good, considering she lost them.
I'm so mad at him.
Don't you think I know what's happening on my own ship?
No.
Barely competent and paranoid.
I was just venting. Accurately.
She is difficult
Major.
to handle.
Sir.
He seems equally difficult to handle.
All I have done since I got to the beast is trying to help, and all I've gotten is Garner's foot in my ass.
Well, maybe you need a kick in the ass.
All right,
Well,
here we go. What is your problem anyway?
Well, Kara, my problem is you. You keep fracking up, and I keep having to clean it up, and I am officially sick of it.
yeah.
Poor Lee, your life is so hard, isn't it?
Oh, shut up. Can both of you just try to be better people? Is it that hard? I don't think they had it out enough in that moment. I think they need a little bit more.
Can you give us a fix on where this distress signal is coming from?
Yes, sir. It's long range, over 40 SU away.
Then spin up the FTL drive and prepare to jump the ship.
Yes, sir.
Into the unknown? You don't know if that's real or not.
I think this is a Cylon trap, and...
And I disagree. I'm going to get our men.
As much as I don't think it will work out for him, I hope it does. He should not be in charge of Pegasus.
Major Adama, do you concur?
Sir, Captain Thrace and I are of the opinion that the first two raptors may very well have been lured away by just such a trick.
An opinion I do not share, sir.
This is dicey. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Major. I'm sure your expertise is needed elsewhere.
It's actually needed right here because you're mucking it up. I bet his engineering, like everything in engineering is like perfect, but...
So now it's our administration? She must
Oh
be
boy.
desperate.
I bet you Trish has never looked ugly a whole day in her life.
One of these rights has now come into direct conflict with the survival of the species. Therefore, I'm issuing an executive order. From this day forward, anyone seeking to interfere with the birth of a child, whether it be the mother or a medical practitioner, shall be subject to criminal penalty.
I am so angry right now.
This man is not a member of this crew, and you will obey a direct order that you have been given by me, and you will do it now.
Major, if you'll come with me.
Oh, screw you, dude. Oh. Oh, they're just floating there?
Pegasus Red Devil. Our two birds look intact.
Oh, God. Oh.
I repeat, they're all dead.
Yup, it was a trick. It's like the Adamas know what the hell they're talking about.
Brace for impact!
That is a big fat I told you so right there.
We're stuck here, sir.
Can they fire, or is that not a thing when they're under attack?
You take green, hit him on the left. The rest of you follow me. We're going straight up the gut.
Sergeant, I think you...
Watch Starbuck. Get him out of this.
It's gonna be a sensor. Just pull it. No, listen.
Get down to engineering, dude.
I need to go down there.
Yeah, go. Bye.
You have the con.
Yeah, you gotta go where you're needed. Like...
Yes, sir.
It's your Battlestar now.
To concentrate on protecting our top side.
Aye, sir.
We'll go, Pegasus.
I'm so happy for Lee. Space shit.
See if we can't cut down the odds. We need those FTLs fixed soon. We're dead.
Can the Cylons hack into Pegasus like they can, or, well, that they can't do on Galactica unless it's connected to a network?
That breach can bend all our oxygen into space. We don't have a choice. Now open the hatch. Now close this hatch behind me. We're losing air. Close the goddamn hatch. Close it.
Okay, this is where he was needed, not on the bridge of the ship or CIC or whatever we're calling it. This is where he was needed.
They're down to throwing rocks at the bastards. We gotta haul ass out of here now, sir.
Can't you guys shoot a nuke?
Come on, Garner.
Whew.
Air's gone, Skipper. Get out of there. Skipper.
Bummer. It's a great engineer.
You give Garner a lot of credit.
Well, it's all true. He gave his life to save the ship.
Indeed.
Starbuck's report wasn't so kind.
Would it be, though?
Well, she had her perspective.
Absolutely.
And I had mine.
In your opinion, off the record, what was Garner's flaw?
Inability to listen.
He was used to working with machines. Command is about people.
Yep.
Remember that as you take command of the beast.
Wow.
Don't let me fail a second time. Congratulations, Commander.
Madam President.
Wow.
Word has it that you do not intend to prosecute the Gemini's girl on Galactica.
Why would she?
You have your pound of flesh, and I suggest you take your victory and you move on.
Whoa.
Ma'am.
She did not stutter. Ooh. That guy is looking twitchy back there.
Your decision to criminalize abortion has created a furor. Do you think that's hurt your standing in the polls?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I may, Madam President. decision has been made with good faith. I, however, cannot with good conscience support it.
Ooh, didn't see that coming. I mean, I did, but I didn't at the same time.
Given the current situation, I'm afraid that I have no alternative but to announce that I am, as of now, a candidate for the presidency.
That was very public. That was very uncomfortable. What an episode. Okay, definitely a hot button issue that Battlestar Galactica has brought up. Whether or not you should have the choice to have control over your own body. Medical decision determined by a committee. Cool. Yeah, I mean, obviously you guys know what side I sit on, and I'm mad at President Roslin. While Raya still was able to get the procedure she needed, and she was not being prosecuted because of it. The fact that the Geminon leader kept calling her her parents' property, and that like she should be returned to her parents, that does not sit well with me. That does not sit well with me at all. People are not property. They're also not baby-making machines, and I definitely don't think that. Look, it's not easy for anybody to be in that position to make that choice. No one wakes up in the morning and is like, oh, I can't wait for my abortion. 0 women want that. No one wants to go through that, ever. So it's just kind of like, don't you want the people that like want to have babies to like be excited about it and want to take care of the child? Like forcing her to, and also outlawing it just means people are going to find a different way to go about it. And then you're going to lose even more people that way because the chances of survival are incredibly less if a doctor is not performing that procedure. So, you know, that's definitely a thin line. You got to tiptoe it the best way you possibly can. But I'm like, kind of like wanting to kick myself by saying this out loud, but I agree with Gaius. And, you know, he's the science guy. He's basing decisions off of science. And yes, repopulation is important. And yes, you know, equally important is freedom. And I'm with Gaius. Ooh. Although, if he didn't have Head 6, you know, applauding his decisions. He very much was just like, they're just machines. And, you know, you start taking away freedoms, you're just like them. You're programmed. 100% agree. 100% agree. You know, Garner, like being able to talk to machines and understand machines better because he's an engineer, that totally makes sense. And that's where he was needed. And yes, Admiral Dama made a mistake by putting him in charge because he doesn't understand people. He doesn't understand, you know, nuances and that like talking to people is not like talking to a machine where every person is different. And like you have to have a little bit of charm and you have to have a little bit of personality and you have to be able to receive personality and be able to like, you know, maneuver around it because everybody's different. But like machines, they run the way that they run, and it's probably easier for him to understand them better because, you know, like he knew exactly what to do when he went into engineering to get the coolant back up. And I 100% agree that he should not have been in charge, and that was Admiral Adama's fault. But yeah, for somebody who doesn't understand people, to put him in charge of Starbuck that was going to be dicey. Because like she's already hard and complicated for other people to deal with. Even Lee, who knows her very well, even Admiral Adama, who like, you know, loves and cares for her like a daughter, you know, like she's really, really hard for people to kind of get along with. And, you know, I don't really blame, Commander Hurd. I don't blame him for, you know, like not being able to really handle her personality. That being said, you know, hearing somebody out, if they had said like, hey, this is what I think I got from everything. And, you know, he didn't even want to hear it. he let his feelings for her override what was best for the crew. And like, there's me going like, you're going to jump. It's going to be a trap. Like, I don't know how, like, even if it wasn't 95% of the time, it would be a trap. And I only saw the one base star appear. I didn't see the other two. And the fact that there were 3 of them, yeah, get out of there. But I thought Pegasus could shoot nukes. Maybe they couldn't. I don't think they ever said like our nuke cannon. I don't know. The torpedo bay of nukes is empty. I don't. Maybe you don't want to just use those up. Okay, that's fine. But eventually they started having a little bit of defense by shooting back and destroying at least the one base star. But I got my space shit. I got my dosage for today, so that's good. But the difference between working with machines and working with people. And then there's Sharon with that baby. I could go on for hours and hours about a woman's right to choose, and forced birth is not okay. I've had people, write me emails and leave me messages on my Instagram and direct messages about how like one day I'll change my mind about wanting to have a baby. I'm 43. I am not going to have a baby. I've been avoiding it this long. I can continue to do so. And it's really nobody's business. Like if I say I don't want kids, like that's my answer. There's no trying to convince me or talk me into it one way or another. And it's kind of the same thing with like abortion. People are going to have their opinion on it, whether they think it's right or they think it's wrong. And that's completely okay. You're welcome to your opinion. I think that it's great that people have opinions on that. But what you can't do is force somebody, because your opinion is so strong, you can't force another individual to follow the way you want things to be done. And that's like something I absolutely hate about the whole debate, is that you have a group of people that like keep saying whatever, like it's God's will and all these things. And it's just like, but I don't believe in that. So why do I have to follow this? And you're seeing that with the Gemini group of people, because the Gemini are very much to like the scripture, and they're the heavy-handed religious people, I think, of the fleet. And it's dicey. I get it, but individual freedom, it's the reason why it exists. Now, Lee and Starbuck definitely are at a different place. I know she's definitely sorry for shooting him. It seems like they never talked about it. And she was only over on Pegasus for 4 days, and he had been recovering for a month. So I'm not quite sure if they just hadn't ever talked. It's like really close quarters to never like say something to each other. But I think they're okay-ish. I don't know if they'll ever be 100% okay, because they have history and they have stuff that like they're not. Well, I guess Lee is a little bit more openly emotional than Starbuck is. Like she holds it all in and then has an outburst. But him like kind of admitting to her is just like you've always bucked authority and you're doing it again. And I'm sure that bothers him to like just kind of continue to see her muck up and never learn her lesson and get better. And like, as long as somebody's always trying to improve, that's a good thing. And I think Starbuck, like, she never really wants to improve. And has been times when she has, and I've been like proud of her, but it seems like she just regresses back into old Starbuck ways. And seeing Lee, gosh, he went from major to commanders in one episode. That's something. What an emotional moment that was. And I do believe that is the correct move, is to put him in charge of Pegasus. Now, does that mean he's going to die? As history has shown, the guy in charge of Pegasus doesn't do very well. That will keep him away from Dee, who they were close. I'm glad it was a month after Billy had passed away, but at the same time, it's very jarring to go from one episode to the next and they're in bed together. A little build of emotion would have been nice, but it's because I watched it 2 days ago, so it's very jarring for me that Billy just died and here they are getting it on. Like, I mean, good for you, but like, wow. And it was nice to see that President Rosalind, even though she had to move on, obviously she had to have somebody else help her run everything, that, she's still very much thinking of Billy and that she misses him. And, it being mentioned is just like, that's not Billy. It's just like, yeah, I miss Billy already. I like the new chick though. She's on top of it. She's taking care of business. Now with Gaius running for president, it's hard for me to say that he'd have my vote. Based off of what I've seen from Gaius, if I'm on other ships in the fleet, I'd be like, yep, he's got my vote. But because I know what's been going on behind the scenes, I'm just like, I agree with that one issue, but like I said, he was humping air. Like he was talking to himself. He was pulling his own necktie. Like, as long as Head 6 is applauding it, I don't think it's a great idea. I'm hoping that Rosalind pulls out the win, that she gets the victory. I don't think he'll be vice president if that's the case, which is great. Gets him out of that role. But that's something. I can't wait to see how it pans out. I mean, I don't think that Gaius would actually become president, and I don't think he'd actually be great at it. I don't know. He has his moments, but definitely not with Head 6 chirping behind him. No, thank you. Yeah, what a very political episode. It was very politically charged. It kind of like frustrated me and like made me emotional in some points, and like I was just... These episodes exist for a reason, and it's to make you think, and it made me think. Angry thoughts. But guys, if you want to watch the full-length reaction to this episode, it will be available on my Patreon and up to 2 episodes early. But in the meantime, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. I mean, Gaius is president. What do you think about that? I don't think it's a good idea. Again, if you were on, let's say you're on Cloud 9, and you don't know any of the shenanigans that he does on Galactica, would he have your vote? Because I feel like he would have my vote. But I know too much. Way too much. I've seen things. Like, you guys remember him getting like his head scan and he's like, I'm not crazy. Like, I'm just saying. What'd you guys think of Commander Gardner? Because I think he was out of his depth. I love Scotty. I love Scotty so much. Like, he is a fantastic engineer above the Enterprise. But could he captain a ship? Could he have a battle plan? I don't know. Sulu, yeah, Spock we know, but I don't know. I don't know if Scotty would be the guy for the job. Definitely in engineering. He could fix that shit. He could get you out of a pickle, many pickles, many pickles. He, created time travel essentially. Not created, but like, he came up with a way to time travel by shooting around the sun. Like, there be whales here. Like, Scotty's amazing at the engineering part, but I don't know. I don't know. Just saying, I love engineers. I think that they are so intelligent. They are so smart. They are not people for the most part. I'm going to stop before I put myself in even deeper of a hole. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.